everybody, and welcome. Welcome to our live show. I'm Jen, and I'm here with Heather. Heather Wells is a therapist. She's a board-certified cognitive specialist, as well as a National Autism Summit speaker. Heather, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How about you? How was your Christmas?
My Christmas, quite frankly, I'm so excited to tell you the story in a nutshell, but we had our best Christmas ever.
Yay, that's so good.
Yes, I'll try to keep it in the nutshell, but as you can imagine, every Christmas with Roger, he has ADHD and he has like ODD tendencies, and we've never been able to get ahead of the setting the expectations on Christmas, and not because we were like groggy in the morning, and you kind of like don't stop everybody and tell them the deal. So we would have a situation almost every year where he would beat everybody down the stairs. Maybe somebody would get pushed out of the way, and then somebody's hurt, so you're dealing with a hurt person, and then he would run down to the Christmas tree and be opening everyone's gifts. Just, like things like that. Maybe not exactly that scenario, but things that felt out of control because we hadn't really set things the way we should have. So we like stopped at the stairs morning of and said, okay, go to the bathroom. Everybody go to the bathroom. Okay, wash your hands, brush your teeth, do the things, eat some breakfast, like slowed them down a little bit. Like, of course we let them see the presents, but we were setting expectations like along the way. Mm-hmm. And we had an epic moment where Roger opened a game system, didn't have any games to play with it. And where normally he might have said, this is stupid. I don't get to play with anything. I don't even have any games. Like, he struggles with seeing the bright side sometimes. He said, you know what? I got a game system, and that is so awesome. And Corey and I were like,
that's amazing. I'm tearing up right now.
It was so like through the whole, like I'm still riding high from it. So I actually can't thank you enough, because I really do feel like the tips that you share on this show help parents just like us who struggle every day with just everyday things that for people with traditional children that have brains that work kind of mainstream ways that they might not think about. And for us, it's like we have to think ahead, and sometimes that gets exhausting. And for this one victory, we have just felt so elated. So this is like my huge thank you note to you, Heather.
Oh my goodness. You just made I'm going to cry. You made my day. I mean, that is why we do this, is to help families, because anybody out here who has a child who's struggling, a teen, it doesn't matter what age they are, it impacts the entire family unit. And that is exactly why we do these shows, is to improve the quality of life for all of you. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm so happy.
Yes, I didn't want to step on the show too much, but I did want to tell you that beautiful, amazing story, because we've been so happy.
That just made my whole week. That's awesome.
Yay. I'm so glad. Yes, it's so much thanks to you. So what are we going to be kind of enlightening everybody on today, Heather?
Today, we're going to talk about, here we are between Christmas and New Year's, after Hanukkah, all the different holidays. And a lot of people start thinking about New Year's resolutions, and that there's nothing wrong with those, but we know that they kind of have a high failure rate. And goal setting is a way of life. Just like we talk about a healthy lifestyle, eating, exercise, so is goal setting. And so I want to talk about what gets in the way for kids. And here are strategies that absolutely work. And it will help identify what's getting in the way of my child's goal setting. And so this is really geared toward, this will work for anybody of any age. But if your kids aren't struggling, fantastic. I think a lot of tips here will still help. But for those of you who are like, my child doesn't follow through, or my child doesn't even know what he wants, he seems lazy, apathetic, this show is for you. We will kind of pinpoint a lot of those issues and think about what's involved in goal setting and how to do it on a deeper level than I think sometimes we go on a surface level conversation.
I love it.
And so I think we'll just jump into the slides. And you've heard me talk about SMART goals before, but I'm going to do a much deeper dive this time. It's kind of been in relation to something else when we've talked before. A lot of you may know what these are. It stands for a specific goal, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. What does that mean? Goals need to be SMART. I can't even explain. You're going to understand after we finish this why this matters so much. So to start, we want a descriptive goal, even to write a goal or to say one out loud. It needs to be written because that vastly enhances the pursuit and the reaching of goals for any age. But think about the language involved in that. Do I see the big picture and the details? Do I know what I want? But the specific part of a goal is not just that what I want to achieve is specific. Like, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to do better in math. It is also, it needs to be very specific even on that level, but also, what am I going to do to get there? That's part of the specificity we need. And that's a missing link sometimes. If we don't have a plan, and that is one of our executive function, critical thinking skills that gets in the way for kids and adults sometimes. I have to have a plan for how am I going to get there? What supplies do I need? When am I going to set aside time to do this? We talk about being a schedule builder and we putting it into the schedule, planning ahead like that. And the measurable portion is not just the 10 pounds. That's a measure. But how am I going to know I reached it? Because some of these kids might have goals about, I want more friends or deeper friendships. I want to get along better with the friends I have. Some of these will be academic. They could be about a hobby. What are the metrics they're going to use to know when they've reached it? If we don't have that, we don't know when we reach it. It's not specific enough. So, or measurable enough, really. But I have to be able to compare where I am now, contrast it to where I am at a given point when I'm seeing how I'm doing. But compare and contrast, a lot of kids with visual, we learn first in our sensory motor system. If I visually can't tell same and difference, are these shapes alike or different? I also might have difficulty knowing how am I behaving with my friends in relation to how I was behaving with them.
Yeah.
It translates into cognition. It might involve math. Do they struggle with math? Maybe it involves asking my parents, am I being nicer to my sister? Getting feedback from friends and being willing to take that feedback. Achievable. So many of our kids don't think they can achieve much of anything, which is so sad. I struggle in language arts, so I'm stupid. I'm just not a language arts person.
I think everybody struggles with that, don't you? The measure, like, I think what you said about measuring is so important because so often if everything's not perfect, I feel like I've failed instead of actually counting the things I've done right.
Yes. I have done a lot of shows where we touch on perfectionism, and I'm actually thinking about we should do a show just on that. I've done it in relation to how perfectionism also often leads to procrastination or task avoidance, anxiety. But it is all about celebrating the small victories. And when we have metrics and we see progress, victories are not just at the end of the goal. It is all along the way. We talked about this when you were saying Roger only wants to work on this time at one time and be done, and then we're rushing. But if we know what progress looks like, we have fun and celebration along the way. And that's huge.
Yes.
So a lot of kids, we got to get out of a fixed mindset. Just because you struggle with this right now, it just means you can't do it yet. The power of yet. But do they know who they are? I have to know who I am. And we're going to talk about this a whole lot in a minute before I can even have a positive self-esteem, confidence. I have to be able to problem solve. Part of it being achievable is sitting down with your kids and saying, one time I had a goal XYZ and I ran into some roadblocks, and you might too. What are we going to do when that happens? When you help, just like you did on Christmas morning, when we help prep kids, when they're in a good mood and we're excited, we're setting goals in everybody in the family. This is such a great quality time thing to do with family. Everybody sits down and writes a goal together. But if they start problem solving before they hit that roadblock, they're not emotional about it. And then you can speak to their logical brain. And now that I really think I can achieve it, because even when things don't go my way, we have a plan.
Yes, they do handle it so much better. And it has taken me, I swear to goodness, 12 years to figure some of these things out. But like by the time they graduate, like I'll feel pretty solid.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if you set that expectation, it's so funny. If there is disappointment at any point, they do handle it so much better. And all you had to do was say, now, hey, this might happen. So it's okay if it does.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes. So much anxiety comes from not knowing what to expect. And might there be roadblocks that we can't foresee? Yes. But just knowing that they're coming means it didn't catch me completely off guard. And that decreases anxiety. When I'm not in anxiety mode, I can be logical and reason and problem solve and analyze and kind of fix the situation. This is part of motivation and hope, pathways to goals.
Yes.
Now, y'all might notice that the word relevant is bigger than measurable, achievable, specific. That's not by accident. That wasn't a typo on my part. Relevant. I think if I had to, all of these are important. If I had to pick one that might be the most overlooked or the most crucial, especially when we're working with kids who seem to not care, I have them talk about, I care about this goal because. Why does it matter to me? I talk all the time about what's motivation. They want autonomy. They want independence. They want mastery. They want connection with other people. They want purpose behind it. If it is aligned with the core of who I am and what my goals and dreams are, or with a hobby I'm super interested in, then it matters to me and I am intrinsically motivated. I'm not doing it because I was told to. We still teach respect, obviously, and obedience. But we want to get away when we can from because I said so, because you'll get a bad grade if you don't. That doesn't matter to my heart. That doesn't matter to my purpose for being on this planet. Yes. Why do I care about this goal? That gets buy-in. And I highly recommend, as I said, I think it was last week or week before, if you've not done this before, start with a goal that they select and understand that rightfully so, you have goals for your kids. Please stop getting put in detention. Can we get that F bumped up? Let's pass this grade and move on. Or you're not applying yourself. Those are reasonable, that you're a good parent. By letting them choose a goal and them experiencing the satisfaction of goal completion, that it changes the chemistry of the brain. They want to feel that again, and you'll have more buy-in once you help steer what some of those goals are. And
I love that.
They're learning these skills, the planning, compare, contrast, problem solving, self-esteem along the way that will improve the things that you're sitting there caring about for your kids. I promise.
I think it's so funny because a lot of these things too, because of you, I have started to try to use even in my discipline, because discipline so often can be punitive. And I try really hard to say, okay, well, if we spend our time having this fit and we refuse to do our work, that's fine. These are all real emotions that you're having, but we are going to run out of time, and mommy does have things she has to do today. So once we get to this time, I've run out of time, and then I can't help you. And when we run out of that time, then you can't just sit and watch TV today. You're going to have to go in your room and practice piano for a while, because we don't get to do the fun thing if we don't do the work, So, and then when I get to, oh, you're not going to get to watch any TV later, you're not going to get any bit of screen time today, then he's like, oh, I care about that.
Yes, they made the choice, and you are empathizing with the feeling and teaching life skills. That is the goal here. We must empathize with the feelings, but we don't stop there. We teach them to solve their own problems, to make their choices, and to do so skillfully.
Yes, and I have loved that tip from you. Thank you.
That's fantastic. And they need to be time bound. And think about all the time management issues. We did a disorganization show a while back, but have them estimate how long do they think it's going to take to reach this. And I highly recommend having them set short-term goals that add up to big things over time, because there'll be more stick-to-itiveness in doing so. All right, so we can move on. And this may drive some of y'all crazy. I'm not going to go in order on the SMART, and there's a reason. We're going to start with relevance. Who am I? A lot of our kids do not have a good sense of their purpose, who they are in their heart, their core, their personality, what they want. It starts with physical body. You know how babies will sit there and play with their fingers and toes and, oh, I can kick and I can run. And when I push the ball, it does this. So initially, I am the equivalent of my body. They start recognizing themselves in the mirror and pictures, things like that. Kids with body awareness issues, if you have space invaders, if you have those who kind of roughhouse it and they don't even seem to know they're doing it, a lot of that, it starts with me feeling my body and being in touch with my body before I can get deeper to the core. So know that.
Okay.
Who am I? It's also what I do. Now, there is a part of this that is good, because kids, a huge developmental milestone is realizing I have an impact on this world. I pushed that ball. I made it roll. Cool. Boom. I got flex my muscle here, you know? Think about, even as this is a huge issue sometimes, just a kind of a quandary sometimes for us as adults, because we can get lost in the roles we play. That is part of our identity. You know, I am a construction worker. I am a mom, a dad, a teacher, a friend. Who are you aside from that? What makes your heart just be set on fire?
I have struggled with that this year because I was laid off from my performing job, and that really had a lot to do with myself, my identity.
Yes, yes. That is an element of it. It is so important to honor who we are aside from the roles we fill. The roles we fill are part of who we are, but that's part of self-care. And what am I passionate about? What are altruistic causes? What are hobbies? What have I kind of let go because I'm so busy? Having self-care gets us in touch with that, but understand that also I am who people say I am. This really ties together for kids. I am what I do, and I am who people say I am. You are so defiant. You are so stubborn. If we say those words to our kids, I am stubborn. I am defiant. I am a failure because I failed this test. But the good news is the positive words do the same thing. I am kind. I am generous. I am grateful. Look for character strengths to praise. When they bring home a good grade, I'm so proud that you made a 98. I am so proud of you because you applied yourself. Look at the improvement you've made. You worked so hard. You were determined to do it. So you can still be excited about these accomplishments. You know, you were the MVP. You approved me because I'm the MVP. You know, you practiced even when the team wasn't practicing. You had such grit, perseverance. Your passion shone through. You prioritized this. You planned when you were going to do that extra practice. These are the things we praise.
That's such a good tip because it's so hard. I think sometimes based on the way you were raised, how people talked to you, it's hard to break those patterns sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I have parents who love me very much, but I was praised for my grades all the time. And so I thought I had to make those grades in order. Hi, Sherry Ann.
Yes, she's saying she loves this and she will definitely share this with the family she works with. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry. She is so amazing. Like, did you see her picture up there? That's awesome. I love her. And I am my shared memories and connections. It is so important for everyone to have a personal narrative. So we do that by sharing family stories, stories about grandma, grandpa, things about you when you were growing up. It helps kids see how they fit into the bigger scheme of things. They need to understand, they start understanding as they go to school, I am not just part of this family group. I am also part of, I'm now a classmate. I'm on this team. I'm a teammate. I have to understand my relation to other things. By the way, part of development and why kids have trouble sharing does not mean they're greedy. Part of my identity is this is mine. My name is Heather. Somebody else has my name. They're stealing my identity.
Yep.
See, so think about this. But sit down, look at pictures, create scrapbooks, and tell stories. When kids and adults have cohesive personal narratives, it translates into better mental health. So make sure your kids know who they are. And if they don't, a lot of it, like, how are we talking to them? And unintentionally, nobody is sitting there, I'm going to say things that hurt my child's sense of self. No, but it goes right back to what you said. I mean, there are knee-jerk responses. There are how we were raised. Do they have sensory issues, et cetera? Are we spending enough quality time? Are we sharing the family narrative with them? Yeah. And are we helping them understand who they are in their heart and soul? Okay, so as we move on, that is very much a part of them being able to know why a goal, as we move on to the next slide, how they will know what goal is relevant to them. Okay, so if they're struggling to know why goals are relevant, you can also have a family meeting and brainstorm. What are some of the benefits of setting goals? I learn about my strengths. Who doesn't want that? What are my superpowers? I become more motivated. I start to believe in myself and what I can achieve. I make decisions. I'm in control. I have some say in my life. I can be more independent. Huge part of motivation. I learn to try again. You're setting the stage that they're not always going to get there on the first try. I can learn to be responsible. I'm going to succeed. You can have kind of brainstorming things if they're having trouble answering the I care about this goal because. Now, achievable, think about another benefit we're getting from the achievement thing is I'm learning to make predictions. Predict, how well do you think you're going to be able to achieve this goal? And they can rate that. They can even do a self-evaluation after the fact, and how did I do and how can I improve? I am making predictions. When I can predict, less anxiety, better problem solving, better critical thinking.
Love that. Oh my gosh, this chart is so adorable too. It's very cute.
Yes, and I can make a prediction, and I'm going to evaluate myself.
It's going to be fun to do it.
It can be the exact same chart where they predict in advance, and then they look back afterwards. They start having better self-awareness because they rated it like this. They had struggles they weren't anticipating, or they did better than they thought, and that improves their self-esteem. Either way, they're growing from that.
Yes, that's kind of like when we make when you cut the things out of the magazine and you make a secret board where you like predict kind of what you want.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Kids love it. And by the way, since you said board, a vision board, if kids have trouble coming up with a goal, create a vision board. Have them cut out pictures, write words that resonate with them. And maybe do it in categories: friends, school, family, hobbies. And then from there, they pick the goal they want. But it's fun. It's hands-on. You're getting fine motor regulation, all kinds of things. Hand coordination. Okay, let's move on. We're almost done here. You notice I didn't go in order. That's on purpose because I really wanted to focus on the relevancy. But so we've done the measurable, achievable, relevant. The specific part of this, I can think of a plan. This helps make it specific. How am I going to get there? Having any sort of visual, a graphic organizer, anything where it can be something in the center where they shoot off what supplies they need, what steps they need to take, how they're going to plan it in. And then it has to be followed through with action. Without action, it's just a wish.
Yeah.
And so anything like this to make it visual, you could even have a hamburger. What's the bottom? What's the bottom bun? And that could be the first step. And the layers of the hamburger and the top part of the bun is the last step of the goal. So anything that makes it visual kind of helps make it more concrete, them understanding the parts that go into the whole. If you have kids who see the big picture but forget the details or vice versa, any visual can really help with that.
I love that. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch this because it's live and my 5-year-old just came down the stairs.
And this really helps get the point across of progress along the way. Victory, 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 victory. There's not just one victory in a goal. So, all right.
I love that. Yeah. Well, listen, adults can learn that lesson too, can't we? Geez Louise.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I really was so hard on myself, I think, for most of my life. In the past few years, I've given myself grace. And it's like the best gift I've ever given myself.
I'm telling you, I think you're right about the perfectionism thing because so much of that comes from being a perfectionist. And it's hard sometimes for me to wrestle with that. I would love to do a show about that. If I have to put my 2 cents in, Heather.
No, I think we definitely are. I've talked about it a lot, but I think a show just about that would be fantastic. Yeah.
I love it. Did you have any other things you wanted to say before we close up shop?
I was just waiting everybody. I think we have one more slide to go over before the contact.
Oh my goodness. Yes, please. Let's do it.
Yeah. So as far as the measurable portion, we talked about what that means. But as they're measuring and they're like, I didn't quite get there. Still note the progress, celebrate that. What problem did I come across? What are some solutions? Brainstorm. Support them on the level you need to. Maybe ask guided questions, open-ended questions to help them get there as much as possible because you are growing life skills in doing so. And how am I going to revise? So helping them understand it's measurable, but if it didn't reach 100%, that wasn't a failure. I still learned, I still grew, I'm still closer to it than I was before. And now I can reset the T on SMART, the time-bound portion. I can scoot it back and it teaches me time management. Okay, this took longer than I thought. And then bring that up when you do the next goal. You did so well on that last goal and you wanted to reach that in 2 weeks and it took 3 weeks. Do you want to keep this new goal? What do you think about the T on that one? How long do you think this one will take? So it's a very supportive way to help them take a lesson from the last goal to apply to the new one. And then that will translate into getting homework done on time and things like that.
How often do you think is good to sit down with your kids and talk about their goals?
Well, I think if you've never done this before, it is good to set one goal, sit down. What a fantastic week to do this if possible. I mean, a lot of families are having more family time. Kids aren't back in school yet. Make it something they care about is my high recommendation. Have little check-in points. Depends on what the goal is. Depends on their age. If they have a job, how much support do they need? But it's good to just, we talk about having one-on-one time. Hey, how's that goal coming? And just make it casual, not evaluative on the parent's part. But have little check-in moments. And if you're having these open conversations like we talked about last week, you can do these little check-ins without them feeling judged or threatened, and then as they get used to doing goals and you start seeing where is the breakdown on this for them, and you help, like maybe they know who they are, but they struggle with planning, give more support on that area. But I would say have just brief little check-ins, casual. And if you can see that progress isn't happening, then have a little deeper dive on that and talk about a time you set a goal and you struggled with to kind of staying with it and what helped you. What do you think would help you? That kind of thing.
Yes. I love that. And if we start with a goal, like you said, that is something that's more important to them than necessarily to you, they're going to be, I think, probably better motivated as you're trying to support them. And then doesn't that build it seems like it'd be good for your bond.
It's like, I am going to help you achieve something that matters to you. You are their teammate. You are their support system and their cheerleader, not their evaluator. And how cool. My parent is making a sacrifice to help me on something. I know how busy they are. It's a great bonding experience. And just be relaxed and open and non-threatening about it, and guide just on the level necessary. I just want to reiterate one more time, even if it's a goal that the parent doesn't care about, they are growing. Prediction, problem solving, time management, organization, planning, motivation, all of these things that they need in life that will translate into the things that you care about. And you care about your kids, so you do care about what they care about. But I'm just saying, it might not be on your priority list, this goal.
Of course.
But it will help them grow in all the ways that will help them reach those other goals.
I love that. Thank you, Heather. These tips were so amazing.
Oh, good. This works. It just does. And look, I took away brain balance today because one way to remember this very simply is STAR. Set a goal, think through it. That's part of that planning. Take action and review it. Evaluate, reassess.
I love that.
Do it again. STAR.
That's in that top right corner there. I was looking for it like, wait, where is it? That top right corner. Set goal, think, take action, and review. Love it. Thank you so much, Heather. Is there anything else we got to remind anybody of before we peace out?
I don't think so. Follow me on the Hidden Churn, and you can see the email addresses and the phone numbers for Brain Balance of Katy, Mansfield, Southlake, and the Woodlands, opening in January. The Woodlands the others are already open. We have ways to help you, whether you're staying at home or you want to come to the center or do a mix of the two. So, and just feel free to message us if you have any questions or need support on anything.
Yes, even if you're watching this on the replay, drop comments in. We will definitely see them. Heather is always so gracious to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you again.
I can't either. Thank you, Jen. And Happy New Year to everyone. I won't see you till 2021 next Tuesday.
Yes. Happy New Year, everybody. Have a good one.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sherry Ann.
Bye, Sherry Ann. Thank you.